Hey everybody, welcome to the Hockey Skatedown. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. Wow, following that Monday game between the Capitals and the Rangers, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, so I want to talk about it all in this video. I want to talk about the incident that happened with Tom Wilson, Artemi Panarin, and Pavel Buchnevich. I want to talk about the fine, not suspension, the fine. I want to talk about the bold statement the Rangers made, what happened since that statement came out, that John Davidson and Jeff Gorton were both fired from their duties with the Rangers. I want to talk about the game that happened last night, and that the Rangers received a hefty fine today. So it's a lot to talk about in this video, so definitely please stay with me throughout. Washington Capitals forward Tom Wilson was fined $5,000, which is the maximum allowable under the CBA, for roughing New York Rangers Pavel Buchnevich. According to Tariq El-Bashir, who covers the Capitals for The Athletic, Wilson has been suspended for 30 games and forfeited nearly $1.3 million in salary for various on-ice incidents over his 8-year career. So people are upset, they're confused about the no suspension for Tom Wilson, but here's how the Department of Player Safety saw it, especially George Peros. The fall on Buchnevich isn't much. The punch is what Wilson was fined for. And that was the punch to Buchnevich, not anything that happened with Artemi Panarin. And everything after was two guys wrestling, which happens every night. So was this enough? Was the fine enough for Tom Wilson? Was it just a slap on the wrist? And will it be a trend? You know, this is something that I've seen a lot happen in the past. When something isn't addressed to the degree it should be, you might see a trend where other players start to do this, and hopefully it doesn't, because it was just nasty. It really was. And in my opinion, the way I looked at it, I thought it should have been a suspension. Maybe a suspension for the remainder of the games of the year, more of a hefty fine, but $5,000 for that was just basically a slap on the wrist. It really was. I did review it a couple of times. I did see Pavel Buchnevich kick the goaltender. I did see Tom Wilson pull him down and throw some shots, punches to Buchnevich when he was on the ground, and that's what he was ice, and that was what he was fined for, because he was punching the principal point of contact, which was the head, and the NHL is trying to take away shots to the head. And then I did see Artemi Panarin jump on Wilson's back. So Wilson is a physical person. He is a fighter. He likes to fight. So of course he's going to defend himself when someone's jumping at him. So, I could see both sides of it, but I do think the way it was handled with Panarin was more vicious to me. Panarin is a lot lighter than Wilson. Wilson's a heavier guy. He's a stronger guy. He pulled him down with ease. Panarin had no helmet on, and the way his head landed on the ice was scary. He could have gotten injured severely, and he did receive injuries from this. I know he got up and did scuffle a little bit more, but after the game, he did say that he was injured. So it was just ugly. It really was. Stuff like this should be addressed more, because everything that's happened after that, especially the Wednesday night game, was just nasty. And the events in that game maybe don't happen if he was awarded a suspension. So I think the Department of Player Safety should have came down a little bit harder. I've seen players that were suspended for a lot less than this. So, it was something that should have been given a little bit more to Tom Wilson. He is a repeat offender. A lot of the hits in this were to the head, or stuff that happened to the other person's head. So, in my day when I was younger, I did see a lot of heavyweights go at it. I did watch in the era where there was a lot of heavyweight fighters. And, typically when fighters went up against a person who wasn't as good of a fighter as he was, they take it a bit easy on the player, not throw him down to the ice, especially if he didn't have a helmet on. I know hockey's a physical sport. I know it can be grueling and stuff happens like this sometimes, but it could have severely injured some of these players, and I hope they get it right for the next time if this does happen again. So the Rangers, based on the fine, not the suspension, put out a statement. So the New York Rangers are extremely disappointed that Wilson was not suspended for his horrific act of violence. Wilson is a repeat offender with a long history with these types of acts, and we find it shocking that the NHL and their Department of Player Safety failed to take appropriate action and suspend him indefinitely. Wilson's dangerous and reckless actions caused injury to Panarin. We view this as a dereliction of duty by the NHL head of player safety, George Parros, and believe he is unfit to continue in his current role. So I saw a lot of interesting tweets and a lot of people talking about it. I found these two very interesting that I want to talk about now. It was two tweets put out by Frank Saravelli and Elliot Friedman. So Frank Saravelli said that the New York Rangers have fired John Davidson and Jeff Gorton due to them scurrying to distance themselves from the team's statement that was issued Tuesday night, telling other executives that they did not know it was in the works until after it was released. And Elliot Friedman said that there was word Dolan was unhappy with the New York Rangers and the way the season had gone and wanted to make a change. Seems crazy to me because they have come a long, long way in 2 years, but he's the owner. So in the aftermath of this, Chris Drury will be president and general manager of the New York Rangers, and it's not an interim tag. It's something that he's been promoted to. So this was something that was Dolan was looking to doing later down the line. I didn't necessarily think it would happen as of when it did. It still shocks me that Jeff Gorton was fired and John Davidson were fired. I know they want to bring up Chris Drury, but I thought it would happen way down the line, not necessarily now. But Jeff Gorton and John Davidson, I believe, did a great job. I really do. John Davidson is a staple of the New York Rangers. He's been around the organization for an extremely long amount of time. And I thought these two gentlemen did a very good job, helping to rebuild the Rangers. A couple of years ago, they put out that statement to the Rangers fans saying that they're going to rebuild on the fly. And I thought they've done a great job since then. They made a lot of key trades. They brought in a lot of good prospects, a lot of good picks. And, multiple years they had first-round picks. So they were bringing this team to a lot younger status, a lot more talent. They added a couple of free agents, albeit some of them are a hefty price tag, but this team was doing a lot better than a lot of people anticipated this year. In a tough division this year, the top four make it, so there was a lot of teams right off the bat that weren't possibly going to make it, and the Rangers were one of those teams that were on the outside looking in. So I thought they had a better year than expected. They dealt with a lot this year, and you saw a lot of players rise. Lafreniere, we saw him play, and he started off really shaky, but he's turned his season around. Fox has turned into a Norris Trophy candidate. You've just seen a lot of good things come out of this, and it's the way that Jeff Gorton and John Davidson added to their staple to this team. So again, I'm still shocked about this. I know a lot of Ranger fans are shocked about this as well. I thought they were doing a good job. I didn't think they deserved to lose their job, but Dolan says he wanted to make a change. So I'm a Knicks fan, so I've seen it happen with the Knicks organization for a very long time, and the fans always complain about Dolan. So I've seen him be more prominent with the basketball side of things and not with the hockey. So hey, it's Dolan. So it's unfortunate that it came to those two guys losing their jobs. But the Rangers' year has been tough. The whole D'Angelo and Georgiev fight. You had Panarin and Putin issue that Panarin had to take a leave of absence to deal with. You have this Tom Wilson fiasco, and JD and Gordon got fired with only a couple of games left. So in the event of this statement, the Rangers were given a hefty fine today. The fine was $250,000 for their public comments on George Parros and the NHL Department of Player Safety. That read, the public comments on this nature issued by the New York Rangers that were personal in nature and demeaning of a league executive will not be tolerated, said NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. While we don't expect our clubs to agree with every decision rendered by the Department of Player Safety, the extent to which the Rangers expressed their disagreement was unacceptable. It is terribly unfair to question George Parros' professionalism and dedication to his role and the Department of Player Safety. So they received a $250,000 fine. And, this comes on the night after they had the rematch with these two teams. And the game was nasty. The game was really nasty. The puck dropped. There was fights off the bat, and it kind of reminded me of the Devils Rangers in the past couple of years, which I enjoyed. Every NHL fan was looking forward to this game. They wanted to see what these two teams would do. and it lived up to the hype. There was a lot of fights. There was a lot of misconducts. You saw the first moment that Wilson skated foot on the ice. The boos were just ear shattering. You saw Tom Wilson skate over and just drop the glove. No, you saw Smith come over and fight Tom Wilson, drop the glove, skate over to him, fight him right away. After the first period, there was 100 penalty minutes. There was misconduct after misconduct. Tom Wilson later left the game with an upper body injury, and it was smart that happened because the game was getting carried away to a point. And the only good thing about the game was that TJ Oshie scored a hat trick in it. And this comes hours after his dad passed. And I remember when they won the Stanley Cup, the Capitals did, and they were talking to TJ Oshie, and the way he talked about his dad, every NHL fan felt for him at that moment because he was dealing with a lot. Especially when you have one of your best moments in your life and you're dealing with that in the background, I'm sure it's hard. So I want to issue my condolences to TJ Oshie, his family, the Capitals organization. It's just a hard loss, and I saw when he skates the bench, the emotion that was on his face, and every NHL fan at that point kind of just felt for him, and I wish him the best. So it came to a point where this game shouldn't have been as nasty as it was. If Tom Wilson was probably suspended and given probably a more hefty fine, none of this would have transpired probably. You never would have saw this nastiness in this game. You never would have probably seen JD and Jeff Gorton lose their jobs. So it's something that was shocking to see. And comment below what you think about all this. What did you think about the Tom Wilson fine? No suspension. What did you think about JD and Jeff Gorton losing their jobs in the wake of all this? Comment below and let me know, and please keep it cordial. I know a lot of fan bases could get heated with this whole thing. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the Hockey Skatedown. Join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the night. Have a great day tomorrow. Take it easy. Stay safe.